everybody. Welcome to Speaking with the Speaker, and thank you for being here tonight. I am really excited about this one, because I said in my announcement for this stream, this is my favorite. This is my absolute favorite Hayao Miyazaki Studio Ghibli film. This was the first one I ever saw, and it is just, it is my all-time favorite. I can watch this one literally nonstop, and I just don't get tired of it. So I'd just like to introduce the people who are with me here tonight. It's them. So we're on now.
Moving on.
Now we've got Spartan 072 here and Branch, which is not their real names. So, but they're my children, and they've been kind enough to come and help me when they found out I was doing this one. They're like, we want to come and talk about it. So, of course,
you're doing Howls Moving Castle?
Yeah.
Well, I'm there.
Because they all like it. They all like it as much as I do. So thanks. Welcome, Chris Persia. Thanks for jumping in. And yes, my daughter, when you made that comment, it's like, oh yeah, I love that. I love that music. What? And we'll start out with that. The music for this anime, this movie feature is so good. Yeah, I actually own the music. I bought it through iTunes and stuff because I liked it that much. Hail Lady Miss, thank you for jumping in. She says hello, speaker for the dead and people with him.
Offended.
Offended. Hail a dig outlaw. But yeah, this is the music for this one is haunting. It gets in your head. It has a very classical musical feel and kind of a like a Germanish feel to it. If you know the Beethoven, Bach, that kind of, it has that feel to it. And it kind of floats between genres. There's lots of different kind of sounds that go through it. So, but yeah, Chris Perger, I love the music from this one. It's one of my favorite aspects. So, this movie also has an all-star cast. The vocal cast for this was like, they got some serious talent to fill up the rosters. Now, I've never heard the actual Japanese cast. I've only ever watched the American version of this. But here you go. Chris Persia. Yes, I know, right?
Yes.
I mean,
I have amazing taste.
I've taught them well. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, this was my first one. I remember when John Lasseter, who was with Walt Disney, before they became the cesspool company that they are now. It's kind of sad that they Me Too'd him out, and ever since then we're not getting good stuff out of Disney Animation and Pixar really. But it's because of John Lasseter that we kind of got Hayao Miyazaki and his films and Studio Ghibli in the United States, because they went over and became the distributor for him in the United States. And I remember John Lasseter was talking about how he'd gone to get this because he was a huge fan of Hayao Miyazaki. And so, and that's the first time I really saw it. And then I saw the trailer for Howls Moving Castle, and I was just blown away. I was just like, I cannot wait to see this. As soon as I could get my hands on it, I went and got it, and it's fantastic. We own it on Blu-ray. I've bought it through like digital format, so I can carry it with me in all my devices. That's how much I like this one. We all are just like, it's so good. We watch it when we go camping. Like we have a little TV in our RV, and we'll watch it if it's raining and stuff. It's one of the films we always take with us, it seems like. So the cast that they've got, I mean, we've got Christian Bale, Billy Crystal, Emily Mortimer, which I didn't know her very well, but she plays Sophie, one of the younger version of Sophie, which is really great. Gene Simmons, she was in a big soap opera when I was a kid. Dynasty, I think it was. Josh Hutcherson, which if you watch the Hunger Game films, he is Peeta. He plays Peeta.
Looks like it.
And he is the voice of the little boy. So this must have been one of his first roles, because his voice is very young in this. But yeah, it's then we've got, and he played and that's Markle. Then we've got Blythe Danner as Madam Suleiman. which I have to say, Lauren Bacall as the Witch of the Waste, so good. She is just she really brought that character to life. That she's got that sultry, just urbane kind of. I mean, she's like kind of like the
tacky shot.
Yeah, I mean, she's just got that.
Tacky hats. But you're by far the tackiest thing.
Yeah. She was so
amazing.
Good. But she's like the gal that they got to play Maleficent in the original Disney. She's got that urbane sophistication that makes you believe she's as evil as she's actually coming off, and yet there's kind of a redeeming story arc to her character. But yeah, so I mean, the all-star cast is just really, really great. So we've got some chat here, or comments in the chat here that I'm missing. So, oh yes, Lady Miss, just it is so good. And hey, Adega, stop saying hi to people. No. Yeah, just kidding. Oh yeah, yeah. My wife, she's just like.
I don't think she
actually
doesn't like that one as much,
yeah.
but she doesn't mind it.
Yeah,
she didn't understand it when we.
No, but she'll tolerate Howls Moving Castle in the same way most people tolerate foot fungus. So, I mean, she'd get rid of it if she could, but she can't. So there it is. So no, just kidding. But yeah, she's not a fan of anime. But she likes how much we like it, I think, is maybe the best way to put that. So she'll endure it for us.
I don't think she minds Studio Ghibli stuff.
She actually likes Ponyo, I think. She kind of likes the story of Ponyo, which is another one of my favorites we haven't talked about yet. But I know, right? Oh, thank you for Happy Father's Day. I love my posters. One of my pride and joys is my Star Trek, the motion picture poster back there. You can't hardly see it because of the light. But yeah, Forbidden Planet was one of the first, squirrel moment here, was one of the first science fiction films I really, really liked, and it was one that my mother actually introduced me to. We stayed up and watched it on a late feature film back when we had like 3 channels, and that was it. So we stayed up and watched that one night while she was doing the ironing, and ever since then I've just always loved that movie. Such a great film for the era that it came out in. But so if you guys had to try and pick a favorite character, I always ask this question.
I knew it was coming. So I got some. I was thinking.
It's like, I'm ready for you.
Because other times I'm like, this one.
Just random thought.
This guy's good. This guy. I'll go with this one.
Yeah. So I mean, okay, we'll go with Bree first. So, or do you have yours picked out yet? Okay. So who's your favorite character in this? Calcifer. Okay. And he's played by, of course, Billy Crystal. So why do you like him?
The humor that he produces in the show, we quote it all the time. It's so funny. I can't.
Wait, you all get to eat while I do all the work.
And you know what? When I remember the first time I was watching this, I thought, that's not going to work. I'm not sure he's going. And just within a very short period of time, I'm like, he was perfect for this. I mean, it's Billy Crystal. You can't go wrong with Billy Crystal. So who's your favorite?
I couldn't completely decide.
Oh, cheater!
So I'm like, I like Markle.
Okay.
Markle's a really good character, but I also like Calcifer.
Okay. So and then he's played by Josh Hutcherson, like we were saying. So why do you like? So let's talk about Markle first. Why do you like him?
Markle's kind. Way to put me on the spot here.
I'm just making you defend your choices.
Markle's very. I like how he does things, and he's like kind of a bit bossy for a kid, and then other times he's like, no.
Yeah.
Like when Sophie's gonna go clean his room, and he's like,
not ready.
You want to hide?
No, save my room to last. Slams the door.
Not ready. And he's got his whole arm full of stuff.
Because their castle, when she first goes in, is so disgusting.
It is a mess. There is plates,
total
food,
bachelor pad. But yeah. Let's see. Mr. CCDV says, I watched it because Leslie Nelson, and I expected it to be funny. I was hooked from. Yeah, me too, Mr. CCDV. This one, it's one of those ones where the trailer lives up to the movie, which is very rare that you watch the movie or you watch the trailer and they didn't show you all of the good parts of the film in the trailer and the rest of it's garbage. This one, it pulls you in and you're glad you went and saw it. I mean, it's just the imagination for this story was what got me, because he's kind of talking about some political stuff in it, the concept of war and why people fight and why they go to war and why you would try and stop a war. And so there is some of that going on, but it's really done in a clever and thought-provoking way. But
it's not shove an ideology down your throat.
Right. It just makes you think like good films should. So I didn't make you actually defend why you like Calcifer.
So it was basically the same thing.
Okay, same thing.
It was just he's funny and he's just kind of rambunctious and stuff, what he does and what he says.
Yeah, it's I can't remember who Leslie Nielsen plays. Do you remember who he plays, Mr. CCDV? Oh,
I don't even see him on here.
I didn't know Lars Mikkelsen was in there. Yeah, see, there's some of these guys you recognize the voices, but you can't put a name to them. I'm looking for Leslie Nielsen. I don't see. You might have to tell me who he plays. I pulled up the Google of the cast, and they always have the Japanese cast and the American cast mixed in, and I'm just like, I don't. I'm like, nope, not you, and I have to try and pick through and find who's who.
Maybe this one, maybe that one.
But hail, Chris Perzer, thanks for popping in, and Mark the Infinitely Tired, welcome. But yeah, it's ROQ is unattended. You're gonna have to explain that to me, Adega. ROQ. I'm not good with what is it, an anagram or whatever? Yeah.
I think it's an acronym.
The doctor. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. No, the character Leslie Nielsen plays the voice. I don't see who's he's. I didn't see him in here playing a voice. So yeah, but no, I love Leslie Nielsen, and it's kind of sad you don't really see him in anything anymore. Oh, okay, all right. So ROQ is unattended. All right, so but yeah, no, this for me, my favorite character. I'm trying to explain why. The explanation is actually it's Howl. It's Howl. I loved Christian Bale's portrayal of Howl. It's kind of a toss-up between Howl and Sophie. Sophie is just an interesting character. She's that wallflower girl who doesn't think she's pretty. She's just resigned herself to the fact she's going to live in this
limbo.
Yeah, limbo. She's just going to live her father's dream because she doesn't, really know what to do with her life, and she's going to do this thing because her dad loved his hat shop. And the mother in this, Sophie's mother, is wow. She's like one of those flighty, twitty mothers that is just I don't think you should have had children. Or if you did, you shouldn't have been left in charge of them for more than 5 minutes, because that's not a good thing. She seems like a nice enough person. And the sister, and the sister's the same way. What's her name? Letty. Yeah. So Letty is the same way. They're very, and Sophie is very much the odd duck. But Christian Bale's performance as Howl really, especially when he's pouting because she messed up his hair. That is one of my favorite scenes. I can't stand it if I can't be beautiful. And then Calcifer's like, how, you're Sophie, save me, he's drowning me. The vocal performances in this were just epically good. Just so well done. I can't imagine anybody else playing these roles because they were just done with such precision.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's did we miss something? I've tasked my daughter with helping me keep track of the chat better because I get talking and then I'm not paying attention to the chat, and then I'm just like, oh, I've lost what their chat's talking about. But I love the walking. Oh yes, and was it? I mean, what a crazy, fantastic idea for a guy who's scared. He's scared of having to live his obligations. And it's his way of never being tied down. He can just run away whenever he wants. He can just pick up his house and move it somewhere else. I mean, and the design for it. At first, I was just like,
kind of a mishmash.
Yeah,
bits and bobs.
But it really grows on you throughout it. You're just like, yeah, I get it now. I can see why. It's just a hodgepodge of everything he's come across, and he's stuck it all together. Did you have something? Okay, you look like you had something to say on the castle. So, but yeah, no, it really was a cool concept. But yeah, if you have not seen this, you've got to go see it. Get a hold of it. You can. It is on HBO Max right now. HBO Max has almost all of the Studio Ghibli films available right now. So I've been watching Kiki's Delivery Service and a couple of the other ones that I hadn't seen yet. The jury's still out on Kiki's Delivery Service. I haven't decided whether I like that one or not. I haven't got all the way through. But seriously, you can, like I said, I own this in like several different formats because that's just that good. But did you? Oh, okay. Thought you were going to say something. So no, my house looks a little. Nice. I live in an RV. You can just pick it up and just drive somewhere else. You just got to watch out for tornado country because they seem to be attracted to trailers. If there's a tornado within 10 miles of a trailer park, that's where it's going. I mean, it's like magnets, But so I just there isn't enough good to say about this film. The subject matter, the animation style,
and the how the different cities and towns look. They're all very, like, the capital is very different from that place by the ocean and from Sophie's home town. They're like very different, but very subtly kind of similar.
Yep. And I liked how the build up to war. Like they're making this be, you can see the patriotism and we're going to war and we're going to beat those guys, and yet nobody really knows what they're even fighting over and stuff like that. And then it come to find out, you find out the reason why they're fighting, and it actually becomes mixed up in the story, but you don't even figure it out till almost the end.
Really? Because weren't they talking about? I know that at one point there was some guys reading a paper, and
right.
They say their prince was stolen, and they're blaming us.
Yeah. Right, but you don't actually find out like who the prince is till right at the end.
You don't find that out.
You're just like, oh, okay. But I mean, and the love story that's kind of going on.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, between this
still
is
a better love story than Twilight.
Yeah. All right. He's making fun of the fact that because I did Twilight last week. So for those of you who want to go back and watch that, go back and watch it right now.
One of those old jokes that anything's a better love story than Twilight.
And if you're talking about the movies, yes, it's absolutely true. But it's a complicated love story that you don't really understand why it's happening and how it's happening until like
it kind of happens
almost towards the end of the film. You're just like, oh, and you suddenly realize that this is almost like a predestined thing that's happened because there's been a little bit of jumping through time that you weren't aware of up until the end. So but yeah, it's very much Pat S. It does, and welcome, by the way. Sorry if I didn't say that before. But yeah, it very much does have a feel of a World War I story.
It kind of looks like World War, like how all the soldiers are dressed. Some of the various technologies, like the air balloons that have the little wings and shoot out those little goblin flying thingers.
I love Hayao Miyazaki's like imagination when it comes to flying machines and different things. If you've ever watched The Wind Rises, which is one of his, it talks about like Japanese airplanes in the era just before World War II. Really, really interesting story. It's kind of a historical account from their side, their perspective. And it's really interesting and stuff. But like, there's a lot of that in that. There's an airplane that's like kind of moving and flapping and flying like a bird. And it's,
those little,
yeah,
little, I don't even know how to describe.
Yeah, it's like mosquito planes.
Or like hummingbirds.
Yeah, hummingbird planes. I mean, it's just his imagination for stuff like that is just crazy fun. And then you've got the magic aspect of everything mixed, within the mechanical world that's going on, which you don't usually see those brought together. You usually they compartmentalize them. It's like having magic in sci-fi. It doesn't seem to mesh sometimes, but
usually it doesn't, because they're like, oh, it can be explained by this or that.
Oh, thank you. Panyo.
Oh,
Ponyo.
You mean Ponyo? I'm sorry, I'm teasing you about
that.
And the ham. Yes, yeah. Ponyo and the ham. Yeah. I mean, isn't it just, but his imagination is so crazy. And you realize that Ponyo is based off of The Little Mermaid. And you think, well, Disney didn't do anything like that. I mean, it really is crazy. Liam Neeson plays one of the voices in that. I mean, he's really good at getting really fantastic voice actors for his films that come over to the US. And really, it's okay, Pattis. I'm just giving you credit. I know what you meant. Coming from the world's worst speller, I can translate misspelling really easily, because the high school I went to, it's just sad. It's sad. But yeah, no, it's having lived multiple countries and multiple states, I can tell you that is so realistic, so much familiar, so different cognitive. Yeah, it is. It's and he incorporates that into this film really well. That nationalistic pride, that feeling of, there's at one point where there's a bomb that goes off over the bay, and then you see all these pamphlets coming down from the enemy. And there's a guy walking through town going, "This is all propaganda." Propaganda. Yeah, and it's just like, oh man, you really do get that sense of, a 1930s Germany, or a turn of the century Germany, and stuff like that, where it led to World War I and World War II. But it's just self-fulfilling outcome. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Oh, way to get picky on me, Chris Bird. No. Oh, which reminds me, Chris, there's something I had to bring up. Purple Valkyrie said something the other day in one of her streams. She was talking with somebody about anime, and she pointed me out as an anime expert, and I was just like, I was like, no. I'm not an anime manga expert. There are a lot of people out there way more versed in this stuff than I am. I just like it. Really a lot. So, but I try I'm trying to learn as much as I can and steep myself in the lore, because it's just so good, and we're not getting anything like that in the States. But because I think Chris knew that he was just like, I don't think he is. So yeah, Chris. No, I am not an expert in anime. I just really love it. I really like it, and the more I get exposed to it, the more I like it. So as far as do you have a favorite part of the film? Like, is there something that because I know my family quotes this film a lot. We'll just be talking.
We quote films in general, almost the entire movie sometimes.
It's everybody's just like, shut up, let them say it. And so, I mean, it really is fun. I mean, because I'm like that. I am a very visual person. Once it goes in my head, it's kind of stuck there, and so I tend to quote things a lot. So, because I don't have an imagination of my own. Just kidding. No, hail brightest day. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, no, let's see. I introduced my son to manga in a year. He was, Oh, well, that's wrong. You should get more. No, I'm just kidding. It really is. It really is great. It is really good what they're doing. And the fact that they're not incorporating political messages, or they're not like beating you over the head with political messages in their things. They're doing it like the old Star Trek used to do it. They're throwing out thoughts and ideas and things and making you think about it. Not trying to tell you what to think, but trying to get you to think, which is always better. It's just always so much better. But yeah, no, it's like I said, I watched this one so much that we quote it literally nonstop all the time. We started. Do you guys have a favorite part in the film that you like? Probably that you kind of sit there waiting, going, "It's coming. Here comes the part."
The movie.
Yeah, all of it. So,
let's see.
I would say the whole part that Sophie's cleaning the house.
That is
Yeah.
really good.
Yep.
Especially when Markle comes out in disguise and he's like, "There's a witch on a rampage in there."
Come back later.
Come back later. There's a witch on a rampage.
Baffled.
I
me
really
so
like. I think one of my favorite parts is the visual of when Sophie opens the window to kind of let some air in after she sees the bathroom, and then just seeing the castle moving, going through the countryside,
and her head sticking out the window like, what the?
And then she goes around and you see the Markle scene, and then she's just the scenery in the background and how well done it was. And the Star Lake, that just so beautiful and well done. I love it. I love scenes like that.
The visual stuff that they do in this, that particular scene, even the scenes of the capital city when they kind of pull back and let you see the palace and all the stairs that they've got to walk up. One of my favorite parts is when Sophie and the Witch of the Waste, and I apologize for those of you who may have not seen this film, but I'm spoiling the crap out of it. I can't not spoil this film.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoiler. And like, she's old, so she's having a struggle, and the Witch of the Waste is old, but she's made herself look younger, and
she's
fat, and she's just like, next time I'll turn you senile too. And there's this kind of battle of wills, going on as they're trying to get up the stairs. It is so funny.
What did you say? Did you say you remembered how to turn me back? I told you.
I don't know.
I don't know how.
Keep studying. Yeah, it's.
That's what it was.
It really is. But I mean, it reminds me a lot of the Disney Sleeping Beauty. It's like how they went in and the intricacy of the drawings of when Howl takes her to the Valley of Flowers after he moves the house around, which I think that was a fantastic sequence when he changes the house around, using calcifer, and he blows up into the big flame, and new doors start appearing and stuff. I mean, it's just the idea of that inside this house is almost a completely different dimensional kind of a gateway thing.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of shows you more to the extent of what magic can kind of do. Another scene I have to mention right now is the scene where Sophie's like, Calcifer, are you doing this? Of course I am. I'm the only one who ever does anything. You are a first-rate fire, and I love your spark.
And he gets this like,
she likes my spark.
All of a sudden, flames start shooting out of the top of the. Yeah, it is. There are some really great moments. You could tell just by our reactions. This is a great film. They're just. I mean, we could sit here and quote it for you if you'd like. We can go right from the beginning and just all the way through. But no, it really is just a fun anime, but it's got those serious moments, and especially towards the end when Sophie starts to realize what's really happening, and the castle has fallen apart, and she's down in the bottom, and the ring is leading her through the door and stuff. I mean, it's just. I almost want to start crying with her every time when she says, "I'm crying and I don't know why and I can't stop." and the tears are flying away like she's weightless. I mean, it's really, there's an emotional connection. You feel like you're in this film with the characters. And I mean, that is something that it's becoming a more of a lost art in filmmaking, that that you actually become completely entwined with the characters, and you feel like you're not just watching them anymore, you're in the story with them.
Mhm.
It's like the never-ending story. You feel like you're right there. But okay, sorry. No, I don't get it. They made me cookies. They made me homemade Oreos today, which explains why I've gotten fat again. I lost like 70 pounds a year ago. I've gained 50 of it back because my wife keeps making me homemade Oreos.
And other delicious food that you
Yes.
have to get away from during your
Bless her
diet.
heart. I think she's trying to kill me, actually. So, but no, I am Sebastian. Okay, you gotta explain that one to me, Mr. CC. But yeah, it's this really is just an amazing film. It is fun. I mean, it really does cover the gambit of emotions. It's got it all. And like I said, that's why this is by far and away my all-time favorite Studio Ghibli film. This is almost probably, I would say, one of my most favorite films, bar none. Just because of the subject matter and the things that that they cover and how well it's done. The aspects and the way he uses magic in the scene where the Witch of the Waste is put in the room and the big light bulbs come on, and then the dancing figures go around her, and she takes away all of the Witch of the Waste power. And Madame Solomon is this kind of an evil, manipulative character behind the scenes, but I don't think she's truly evil. There's just plans within plans going on there.
I kind of suspect that she's the one who turned the prince of that other kingdom into the turnip head.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which
and caused the war.
Another great character that doesn't say a word till the end of the film, and it's just how they made a scarecrow with a turnip head that much of a character in a film, that's impressive.
It's kind of like what's his name? R from Rogue One, the droid.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the KSO.
KSO, yeah.
But yeah, he's never. Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Which one's Sebastian?
Sebastian's the boy, the little boy in the attic.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, but see, and that's what it feels like. It does feel like you are being pulled into the story. So, yeah, I just, yeah, this is one of those magical films that just does not come along very often, and when it does, you just kind of hang on to it, and you pass this kind of thing on to your kids, and you let to your kids and stuff like that. But I mean, they kind of developed a love for it all their own. I mean, I watched it, I loved it, but they kind of developed their own. I mean, I think they saw me laughing a lot and stuff at the Billy Crystal stuff and things, but I mean, it really is just that kind of a special film. And Studio Ghibli is just really good at doing that kind of story. Princess Mononoke, which isn't one of my favorites. I like it. It's my brother's favorite. But I like it, but there's things about it that I'm like, ooh, I could take or leave. Ponyo, it's another great one that I like. But I think one of the things, and we said this right at the beginning of the stream, one of the things that makes this particular film so special is the musical score, and how it runs as a theme through this entire film, and you know, and they use different variations of it to kind of to kind of give you the different emotional tenors of the film, and hell, Curtis YZ, thanks for popping in. Yes, yes, it's that kind of a feel. Like my father, yeah. I mean, it's that kind of. You just got it, didn't
Yeah.
you?
That's in the third movie with
Yeah,
City on the second Death Star.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi. But yeah, it is. It is really fun to get to be a part of this film and to just. I mean, you really do lose yourself into it. It's a world where I wish I could step through the screen into this world, preferably after all the bombs have gone off. And I mean, but that alone, the bombing sequences of the town, and it looks like liquid fire raining in over the train trestles, and I mean, it's crazy how well it's done. And the sequence of events where Howl is actually trying to stop a bomb from falling in the courtyard of the flower shop. And they're just, I mean, and then after it lands and he looks up from the bomb, and just the ways, I mean, it is just crazy good. The animation is so crisp and clear and just beautiful in almost every facet of this film. You're just kind of mesmerized by the whole thing. Spirited Away has a lot of that similar feel to it, maybe not quite to as much of an extent. Hail Purple Valkyrie, thanks for jumping in. But yeah, if you've not seen this, go watch it. Share it with your kids, share it with your family. I don't know anybody who wouldn't like this film, and if you don't like it, well, then you're going to hell. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yes, that is really funny. And the fact that dog has such character, and all he does is go. That's it. That's all that dog does, and yet you know exactly what that dog's talking about. I mean, it is really funny. But yeah, and that whole sequence where she thinks he's Howl and she's talking to him, and then that Witch of the Waste comes into that sequence, and the what do they call them? The little goo men that the Witch of the Waste uses. I can't remember what they called them. The Mudmen, I think, is what they actually called them. But it's just they're creepy and cool, and I mean they just come out of the walls, and it really has some great aspects to the villains.
Especially in the beginning scene when Hal meets Sophie for the first time, and he's like almost like play along.
Yeah, play along.
Sorry, it seems like you've
it seems you're involved, and then, but I mean, and he's just, and what happens with him and the soldiers? I kind of feel bad for the fact that the soldiers kind of get at the shorts in this film. They really make them look like dirtbags a lot of time, and horny all the time. Like the scene with Letty where all the soldiers are like, look at me, look at me, look at me, let me get some stuff.
I'm over here.
I mean, it's like, wow, they really need to tone that down. those guys need a woman. But I mean, it's kind of funny, but that's kind of an aspect of men going off to war, and he captures that I'm going to die tomorrow, I better sow my oats while I can. I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, it's not really directly alluded to in the film, but it kind of is. But the fact that Hal saves her from them, walks up and he's just like, and they're like, hey, we're busy here, and he's like, oh yeah, well, I just thought you were leaving, with a single finger, and he makes them turn around, and they're like, hey, what's happening? You know, and they're like they almost become like Muppets, and then get marched off. It's fantastic. I mean, it's so fun. And then that's when the Mudmen show up, and she's involved, and the story just takes off from that point. I mean, the story starts, and it's just like,
I love this story build up to that point. Like, it's just kind of casually kind of puttering along, and then it starts picking up, and you can really kind of see that, and you see that. I love the character development in movies and stories in general, but they do a really good job with this one.
Yeah, and all of the characters have an arc. Mm-hmm. They all start in one place and they end up somewhere else. There's growth or development of every single character that you see that's any kind of a main character.
Like Sophie kind of started out as kind of a shut-in, I guess.
Yeah,
you can kind of say, and then she kind of gets more out there and knows what she wants, and she's going to get it. Mm-hmm. And then Hal starts out kind of as a coward and
kind of a vain.
Vain
person. Very, very good word for
almost
that.
Close to narcissistic, I guess. but then he kind of grows into being more caring for Sophie, but other people as well.
Yeah.
And he's decided, all right, this is where I stand.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Calcifer is basically a fire. Has a story arc. I mean, it really is just, and like I said, Billy Crystal's performance is just epically funny, and yet there's some scenes where it is really tender between him and Sophie after the collapse of the castle, when she's holding him in her hands. He's like, what do we do now? And it's just you're just like, I didn't know Billy Crystal had that kind of depth to him, and stuff. But I mean, he does. But it's just more often than not, you get the funny side of Billy Crystal. But he really does pull that off. He makes you feel that emotion of being afraid and not knowing what's going to happen, even though he's probably the most powerful character in the story. I mean, you watch what he does, and I love when the Witch of the Waste figures out what's going on. And she's just like, you've got Hal's heart. And because he says that, imagine what I could have done with your eye. She's like, you did that with my hair. And it's like, imagine what I could have done with your eyes. And it's when he's
or your
moving,
heart.
or your heart. Yeah. And she figures it out and stuff. It's just, but yeah, if like I said, it almost sounds like Curtis. Let's see, sounds really fun. Best of Yes. Curtis, if you have not seen this, go watch it. Even no matter how much I ruin it for you, trust me, you'll be like,
yeah, he did not do it
justice. He didn't do it justice. He can't paint a picture with his words. Like,
I gotta say, another scene I loved is when Madame Sullivan has Howl and Sophie and kind of taps with her staff and kind of takes them into the air almost. And then those men that you see
start dancing around,
and there's that song. I can't.
You can't do it.
There's no actual words.
There's like a chant.
Kind of chanting.
Yeah. No,
and it's like that is so beautiful, and then you see how trying to transform to kind of try to save Sophie or something, and she kind of ends up saving him. And it was just perfect.
Yeah, it is the perfect combination of animation and vocal work, and just is so good. But yeah, I cannot do this film justice. This is very much its own thing. Seeing is believing. I could tell you all day, it's just so good, it's so great, but you will not understand until you've actually sat and watched this film.
It's like describing a painting to someone who's never seen it. You can explain it, but they'll never actually know until they've seen it. And you can't do it justice because it's hard to describe it. If it's a really good art piece, I don't know how to describe it. It's so good.
Describe salt. Well, it's salty. And
it's white.
It's a little bittery. It's salty. So yeah, it's really hard. But yeah. So Pat S is asking. You know what, Pat S? I have to tell you, I've never actually watched it with the Japanese and the subtitles. I've only ever watched it in the English version. But that's a good question. I probably should go and watch it. I mean, I've watched it enough times in English that I practically got it memorized. But yeah, I mean, the thing is I found a lot of the Japanese vocal casts seem to do kind of similar work. And I've often wondered if the American actors kind of listen to see how to play the characters sometimes, listening to the Japanese actors for some of their cues, because Japanese is a very different language to English. Even when you're reading the subtitles and you're seeing it in English, sometimes the subtitles in English are different than the words they're actually saying in English, because the translations can vary, and some actors will change a word here and there because they're worried, like, I'm not sure if an American audience is going to get it that way. So yeah, sometimes it's great just to watch both versions, or to sit there and watch subtitles and English on to see where the translations might change. Every opportunity to pick every little morsel out of a film like this is it's too hard to read a movie. You know what? I am very much in that camp. I do struggle with subtitles, but I pulled it off. Me and my son went and saw the movie for Demon Slayer. It was great.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it
So
yet.
anyway,
So what happens is, but seriously, it is more difficult. It is a matter of you can't take your eyes off the screen for a minute. You have got to be like mesmerized, focused to be able to pull off reading subtitles and listening to it in Japanese and still watching what's happening.
And even
on the
then,
screen.
sometimes you kind of be like, I need to re-listen to that.
Oh, we're gonna have to rewind that, which you can't do in a theater, which is so that's kind of hard. But yeah, it really gives you a different aspect. I mean, I can't remember what I was watching one of the animes that I was listening to it in English, and then I was reading it, and I'm like, wow, they changed that. And I was like, I kind of liked there were parts where I liked the way the subtitles had said it. And so there were some times when I'm like, I can see why they changed that, because an English audience, most of them would be like, what? And so sometimes having both of those really gives you that extra little bit of, understanding of what they were actually trying to go for with the words that they're using. Because I think the Japanese, they pick their words pretty carefully when they're doing this kind of stuff. And so I think sometimes we do lose things in translation.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's with just about anything.
Yeah, just about anything. But yeah, the Curtis Wiley, the vocal cast in this is unbelievable. You've got Lauren Bacall, you've got Gene Simmons, two, just great classically trained actresses alongside comedians and young people that are up and coming actors. Really great. And Purple had asked earlier what she'd missed. You missed it all. Sorry, Purple. No, but yeah, go back and watch this if you can stand listening to me talk for that much amount of time. This show is just serious. It is 10. It is a 10. There are very few movies I can say get a 10. This is one. What do you guys?
Agreed.
Agree? Okay.
I can't think of anything that's wrong.
I'm your father. Don't you dare disagree. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, if you guys think something different, but it really is just great.
Yeah,
no. Purple summons me. I'm at her whim. She's not at mine. She's way more powerful than I am. But yeah, Purple missed the you are the anime. Oh, she did. Okay. Purple, if you're still in here, I will say this again. You gave me credit the other day that I don't think I deserve. You called me like an anime manga expert. No. I wish I was that well versed. I just love it. I just love it so much. So yeah. But no, thank you for that compliment. I was just like, oh, and at the same time, I'm like, it's not true.
I don't deserve that.
That's so sweet. Now I feel like crap because I'm not even close to being that good. But yeah, no, I in the South shall not fight. I write, right? I guess I'm an expert. Purple says I'm an expert. That's pretty cool. I could put that on my bio. Official Purple Valkyrie expert in anime and manga. No,
I have been dubbed the anime expert, anime manga expert by the Purple Valkyrie. You cannot.
I have a sword, Purple. I'm gonna make a video now. It's just like with like pretending like you're doffing me the official and anyway. Taking my words to come out. That's how good I am. I'm an expert. I can't speak. But no, thank you guys for being here. I love this film. I seriously could sit here and talk about it forever and all the intricate details. It is so much fun. Such a classic film that I really am grateful to people like John Lasseter and Hayao Miyazaki for the brilliant genius that this man is, and everybody else who was involved in the creation of these films of Studio Ghibli. We really, he is kind of a Mozart of animation, in my opinion. He tells fascinating stories. He does it in crazy cool ways, and everything is always a little different with him, just a slightly different perspective. And I think the world needs that. I think the world needs more Hayao Miyazaki's in it. That dream the dreams that we all want to see. And he's a lot like that's how I feel about Adega. Adega is a dreamer. Adega is a creator, and is building worlds that his kids and my kids and generations into the future will be able to see and build on. It's just fantastic, and I take my hat off to anybody who's creative that way. So thank you for being here. Next week, we will be discussing another one of my all-time favorite animated films. You may have seen me announce it on my Twitter feed. By the way, let me change that real quick here if I can find it. For those of you who don't know, you can find me on Twitter at Brian the Speaker. I have 2 Twitters, but I'm trying to use this one more just because it's easier to try. I don't know why I have 2. I really don't. I think I did that just in case they shut one of them down, because there's always that possibility. But we're going to be talking about the 1970s animated The Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien, another one of something that I absolutely love. J.R.R. Tolkien is just a genius. The guy's a genius, despite what Amazon's going to try and do to his work. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that show, and that's why I go back. I was watching The Hobbit the other night to be ready, because I've only seen it like 60,000 times since I was a little kid. Because I was born in the 70s. Because I'm that old. But yeah, so it's if you guys are interested in that, please come. It will be the same bat time, same bat channel at 5 p.m. on Sunday next week. And we will be talking The Hobbit as only the animators of Rankin and Bass could do it. And we may even get into a little bit of the other animated films that were done. Fellowship and then Return of the King. They kind of skipped over the 2 towers in animation and stuff like that. But yeah, it is. I'm excited to talk about that one. If anyone is interested in actually being on the panel for that, just a Hobbit discussion in general, with a kind of emphasis on that cartoon, then please let me know. You can find me on Twitter, send me a direct message, and I'd love to have you on the panel because it's going to be a fun discussion. I love The Hobbit, first real book I ever read in my life. So anyway, thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday evening. And I know this is always the awkward part of the show where I'm trying to figure out how to just leave and not look weird. And I never pull it off ever. So thanks for being here, and we will talk to you guys next time. Bye now.
Bye.
I hate this place.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, wrong hand.